My favorite comic books in the 1950s. Started in the 1950s, went to the 1960s. I had an individual favorite and a team favorite, and here I'm talking about my individual favorite. I read a lot of comic books starting in the 1950s. My parents encouraged me to read, and they thought comic books were the way to go. My parents' friends, and my relatives gave me comic books to read. I had not yet started school, but I loved reading. My favorite, the individual superhero, was the most powerful character, superhero in comic books. Now remember, there were no really big non-DC comic book superheroes. They were just DC characters. The Marvel magic didn't really start its ascending until 1963. I didn't start regularly reading Marvel until summer of 65, and then there was a transition over to Marvel from DC. Until then, I read almost, but not entirely, DC. I read Archie and others. The first Marvel superhero comic that I read was Fantastic Four, issue number 4, cover date May 1962. I read it off a spinner rack in a Safeway grocery store. And I've referenced that in other videos, and I'll talk about it again. But here, the only reason I read that comic, that Marvel Fantastic Four, was because I was so disappointed in what DC had done to my favorite character, who was the most powerful superhero in the universe and who was totally secret. From May 1959 until February 1962, my favorite character was Superman's secret backup. 33 stories from 59 to 62. To make analogies, in my mind, Superman's backup was Tom Brady coming in for Drew Bledsoe and never again becoming the backup. It was Earl Morrall coming in for the Colts Johnny Unitas, or the Dolphins Bob Greasy, and taking both teams to the Super Bowl. In my mind, Superman's backup was superior to Superman. The executives responsible for telling commercial stories don't always know their own business. The television executives who ran I Dream of Jeannie thought that if Tony and Jeannie married, their ratings would go through the roof. Instead, their ratings tanked and the show was canceled. To my mind, that's what happened in February 1962 with Superman's secret backup. You see, when Superman's backup was secret, I could imagine that I was Superman's backup. You didn't know who it was. But in February 62, when DC made Superman's backup identities known, I stopped reading. I don't know what happened to her after that, because I stopped reading. They eventually killed her in Crisis on Infinite Earths. I didn't know till a few years ago they'd brought her back. Reboot, I presume. But no one was reading her and after that. So, from May 1959 to February 62, the identity was unknown to the public. Only the readers of the comic book knew that Superman's girl cousin was his backup. Supergirl, an orphan, was Superman's backup. There were 33 terrific stories, and then I stopped reading. So here they are. The starts The second feature, Action 252, May 59, Auto Binder, the Supergirl from Krypton. And there's just terrific stories, one after another. And they go all the way up. Here's January 62. This was really, I thought, the last good Supergirl. So then in February 62, the February 285, I don't believe this, at last by popular demand, Superman presents Supergirl to the world. I think that's a DC executive's mistake. Superman, I can't believe it, they're cheering me. You deserve it, Supergirl. After all, you are the world's greatest heroine. Parade, gave her roses. She's flying in a mini skirt before mini skirts were popular, and go-go boots before go-go boots were popular. That's it. World's Greatest Heroine, Part 1. For several years now, Supergirl has served Superman faithfully as his secret emergency weapon, his backup, often saving him from various dooms. Superman has delayed announcing her existence on Earth until she sufficiently mastered her superpowers and proved herself capable of operating openly with him. Now, at last, the Girl of Steel's gallant efforts to prove her worth are rewarded, for finally Superman lifts the veil of secrecy and makes known Supergirl's existence. So important is this development that we devoted an entire issue to it. So, that's not what happened. The readership went down. And as I said, it was 20 years later, but Crisis on Infinite Earths, they finally kill Supergirl off. And I didn't know that she had been rebooted until just a few years ago. I didn't watch television, so I didn't know there was a whole Supergirl series. Anyway, didn't watch it. Just not the same.